Hey, what's going on everyone? Brad here from Preeminent Practice, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you one of the biggest mistakes that I see practice owners make in business, whether they are just starting out or they're seasoned professionals and been in business 20 plus years. This is so common and affects you so much. Now, just before I get into the video, I want to underscore that I'm not talking about marketing. I'm not talking about sales. I'm talking about how your business is being represented. And how it's being represented is the actual environment on how your clinic is being set up. So there's two main things I look at when I'm looking to purchase or acquire a business. The first thing is the actual location and what the clinic looks like. Far too many times have I been into clinics that I'm looking to either acquire or partner with, and even just our clients, and their clinic is very dated. It's not set up to elicit the type of service or level of service that you want to provide. Far too many times do I see, light, super bright fluorescent lights, terrible colors on the wall, and worn out equipment like couches and tables and that kind of thing. You got to think, if we're trying to offer a premium service, we want to make sure that that message gets conveyed when the moment someone steps into the clinic. If they're walking in and it's kind of dingy and dark or super bright and, off colors on the walls and, the furniture doesn't match and that kind of stuff, it's not going to go very well in terms of the person thinking that this is really amazing. Now, I know tons of practitioners and doctors who are very skilled, but their actual clinic does not say very much about them. A couple small changes, and now all of a sudden you're giving a premium experience. So if you're not looking at how your business is set up in terms of what the clinic looks like, how's the furniture, and being strategic in how you're creating the experience, it may be one reason why people are not taking the business as seriously, especially if you're charging premium rates and wanting people to go into plans of care or facilitate these care plans. Now, I'm not saying you have to go out and buy $15,000, reception desks and all that stuff, but things that are congruent in terms of the styling. There's lots of small things you can do in terms of lighting, in paint colors, and in layout of furniture and so on that can make a huge difference. Now, I am by no means an interior designer, but I have interviewed a few people on my podcast and in my group, so you can watch those videos. Those people are absolute experts at creating the actual patient journey and merging it into what it should look like and feel like in the clinic. But there are some very small changes that you could make, even do it for yourself, that is going to elicit a better experience. So that's a critically important thing that you need to consider. There's a lot of people that I've talked with, I've looked at their clinic, and it's just not super welcoming. Now, with that, having the right signage is critically important too. If you are located where someone has to go upstairs or in a medical building or somewhere it's a little bit harder to find, having the right signage is one of the key components in order to make sure people can find you, and obviously the patients who are booking in can find you as well. It's part of that patient journey. People will get pissed off and go somewhere else if they cannot find where your building is or where you are. So having the right signage and then having a great world-class first experience when you come in is critical. There's a couple examples, like I said, workshop. You can listen to my podcast in my group if you want to have more advice on that. Now, the next thing, and this is arguably bigger because I can just redo an entire layout and so on, is the actual culture and core values of the business. So why does the business exist in the first place? Your business has to exist to fulfill a need for a consumer. Far too many people get into business who are just focused on, hey, I don't want to work for the man anymore. I want to make my own hours. I want to have my own money and all this kind of stuff. If you're creating your business to fulfill your own purpose, you will generally have struggles because you're thinking first for yourself and not necessarily on what the bigger vision of the business. Now, I'm not saying that you're not going to be successful, but you will not be as successful as someone who has a higher vision for why you're doing the business in the first place. The examples they can always give is if you're looking at Amazon, the whole thing of having 30,000 plus employees and so on and coordinating them all together is based on a larger vision, which is your culture and core values of the business. You need to have these in place, even if you're a solo practitioner, because your clients need to understand and reflect based on the culture and core values of that business. So when I'm looking at core values, not just something that's written on a piece of paper that no one ever remembers, but actual core values that people implement in your business. One core value for us is being professional. So anytime we have a patient or client or a staff member, we can always go back to our core values. Being professional. Was this person professional in this situation if an issue came up? Or if someone's going above and beyond, how are they being more professional and how can we get more of that? It's the North Star and guiding light for the business, and far too many people fall victim to spinning their tires because they do not have those core values of the guiding light. And if you have staff, it's very challenging for them to make decisions and know where they're leading from because of that. Now, ultimately, culture is tied into the core values and how the business should operate. Part of why I bring up culture is culture. For example, being professional is having a professional build out and layout and how the experience is when the person first comes in to the facility. Whether it's a small clinic or a larger clinic, I've had private practices that were, one bedroom, conversions. And I've had clinics that are massive, 8,500 square feet with gym and clinics and saunas and all this kind of stuff. I need to be able to make sure my culture is seen by when someone walks into that facility. So if you guys are looking for ways to improve right away, it may not be your marketing. It may not be your sales process. It may just be how the business actually looks and what the experience or feeling is when the patient comes in. And then obviously making sure that that is tied in to your core values, culture, and how you want the business to be seen. Whether you're running it as a solo practitioner or you've got a couple staff, always put the pride into the business and make sure that the culture and core values are number one, because if you run the business on that high of a level, you will always have success, even if you're not looking at expanding multiple different locations and that kind of thing. But your business will be reflected of that and people will see those changes. So hopefully you found this video helpful, guys. If you liked what you heard in the video, you can hit the subscribe button below, comment with any questions, and I look forward to seeing you next week.